Hello, welcome back to Cine Twins, a podcast about movies. This is where we talk about movies.
That's the intro.
That's
That's what
the
we're
intro.
going
I'm sticking with it.
with.
It's gonna be flat as possible.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, ditto. Whatever you said. Listen, I don't care.
Yeah,
This is
just
a podcast where
casual.
we don't
Yeah, casual.
care.
This is a situation podcast.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, um, one of the biggest, most anticipated movies of the year, The Odyssey. It came out last month. It's been a month by this point. So if you haven't seen
Yeah,
it,
we're really on top of our reviews.
well, I mean, the last episode we did say that we were going to go watch it, and we
Yeah,
did.
you reviewed it. You made a note about it.
Yeah, I gave us a very short review. I quite liked it. What do you think about it?
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Um, Big Matt Damon fan. I thought he was really stellar.
We love Matt Damon here.
Yeah, friend of the pod, Matt Damon.
Friend of the pod.
I thought he was really great. I thought Anne Hathaway was really wonderful. I felt very captivated the whole time. There was a
Mm,
lot that like kept happening throughout the story. I'll be so real. I don't really remember the Iliad or the Odyssey from high school. I think I read the Iliad. So basically I was going in with no knowledge. And I feel like I was really entertained the whole time. It was really beautiful. A lot of complaints were how drab it was to look at,
mm.
but I don't agree. Well, okay, not to be like I'm better than other people that watched it. I did see it on 70 millimeter IMAX.
Wow, the
Almost the
way
way,
Nolan intended.
almost intended.
How did he intend it then? If it's not
Full
70 millimeter,
IMAX.
wasn't it in IMAX? Didn't you watch it
Well,
in
it's
IMAX?
a form of IMAX, but he had the bigger IMAX.
Oh,
That
wow.
there's only I think there's only like 35 theaters in America or the world that can like
The
handle
world.
it. The world. Okay. Well, sad to say, we didn't have one, or I wasn't aware of one in Chicago. But I saw it on 70 mil, which was a totally fine way to see it. The projectionist, I don't think, was very equipped for his
Oh,
job or their job or her job, whatever their job is. Because there was a hair on our screen. And they kept shaking the film at the first 20 minutes of the movie, which
oh
was a little
my.
bit distracting. But the colors were really beautiful and vibrant. So I thought it was just gorgeous. And the score was really great.
I
That's
love the score.
my top notes. Oh, Robert Pattinson was really amazing. My mom is a huge fan. She's been binging all his movies after the Odyssey, which I told her to go see it, and the next day she did. So that's really awesome. My
How many
influence.
stars do you think she gave it?
She gave it 5. I asked
Oh,
her. I gave it four
nice.
and a half, so
I also gave it 4.5, I think.
I think the only thing that I really didn't like about it was Tom Holland's and Zendaya's performances. Oh, and I also there was a few weak performances. Well, Zendaya, I'll give her a little bit of grace. She didn't have much to do,
Yeah.
except for the very last scene of hers. So I can't fault her too much. And I don't think Tom Holland was actually that bad. I think he was just surrounded by so many people giving really good performances
Mhm.
that it's hard to even recognize that he was doing a good job.
Yeah. He was really
Um,
like trying to hold his own, which I
mhm.
respect.
Yeah, I think if he was doing this performance with maybe like more actors of like his peer group, he would
Mm,
really shine.
yeah.
I think it's just hard because he is doing a good job for a not very good actor, but then you've got like Robert Pattinson who continues to deliver like in every movie that he's in, and Anne Hathaway who's been around forever, literally like a super well-known actress and
Hmm.
very like I think versatile in her like performances. And then Matt Damon giving kind of like one of his late career best performances.
Yeah.
And he's never going to hold his own against any of that. And I don't
No.
think it's that fair to judge him harshly
Yeah.
because I think he did a fine job.
Yeah, if you like take him out of the cast, if you
Hmm.
isolate his scenes, he's honestly not that bad.
It's better than anything else I've seen him do, but that's
I
not saying much.
I watched the recent Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man, and he was really good, honestly.
Yeah.
I think in like that sort of setting where it's like, you know, the movie isn't asking for like Oscar-worthy acting,
Hmm.
then like it's easy to go above whatever standard that it's trying to set. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
the
and
like Spider-Man film was it was really good as
yeah,
a
and I
Marvel film.
yeah, sorry, I kept
It's okay.
interjecting. Um, I also think Nolan's probably like a good director for Tom Holland to be like starting out
Hmm.
these like better performances with because I know Nolan doesn't really like hold back his actors a lot. He kind of like lets them figure out what they want to do with it, which I know is a point of critique for him as a director, but I think sometimes it works. I think sometimes it doesn't work, if you don't always have the actors like completely knowing what they should be doing and you just let them figure it out. Um, but like I think for this case, Nolan probably was a good fit for Tom Holland to kind of figure out how he should approach acting seriously a bit more. I know it influenced a lot of his production with Spider-Man, and like the notes that he would take back. So it probably did help him out a lot. Uh,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think if anything, Nolan helped Tom be a better producer rather than an
Mm-hmm.
actor.
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
think he produced Spider-Man, obviously. But
No, but
yeah, just
he
the
had a lot
way
of,
he ran the set, I guess.
yeah, he had a lot of input and feedback that they needed to start doing like it more seriously,
Hmm.
of like having a script ready before they're shooting, having a
Having a
purpose
shot
to what they're
list,
doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
And like how
basics.
to just to make a movie
He was like,
with
we need to be on real locations. If I see a green screen, get out.
yeah, which is just insane that it took like four Spider-Man movies for him to be like, we're not making real movies. It's like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Did you
Uh,
see, I think Robert Pattinson, he said that one time he asked Christopher Nolan, like, what do you want me to do in this scene? Like, how do you want me to play it? And then Nolan was like, hey, that's your department.
yeah, I
Acting is
did,
your department.
which I think is one of those mixed things of Nolan as a director. It's like you should be able to provide a little bit of direction,
Yeah,
especially if
just
your
like
actor is asking for it, you know?
yeah, you don't have to like dictate his entire performance, but like if you could point a direction, like a
Hmm.
director.
And I think that would have benefited some of the performances in the Odyssey because sometimes
Yeah.
it did feel unmatched, where
Mm.
like one performer would be doing something and then another performer would be doing something else, and it never really felt like matched tonally. I think I
Yeah.
will say, as much as I enjoyed Anne Hathaway's performance, her accent work was confusing.
I don't even know what to say about all these accents. I'm really not sure what Nolan wanted, like with the accents and with the script, like the dialogue. I have no idea what he wanted.
Yeah, everybody was doing like
American accents, I
standard
guess.
American
Yeah.
bland accent. Like it was a nondescript American accent. And then Anne Hathaway's like, what if I made it a little bit British?
It's like
The
we're
only
in
like
Greece, so like ancient
yeah,
Greece, so like maybe.
I would have been, I think, more okay if Nolan just let them all have their like usual accents, maybe tailored down a little bit. Like I don't think like Matt Damon should have like a Boston accent as Odysseus, you know? Like I think it's fine that he kind of had to like soften it a little bit. But like I don't see why there's any reason why like Robert Pattinson, for example, couldn't have been like British or something.
Yeah.
I think Tom Holland, it was fine that he continued to play American as he does.
Has he ever
Uh
played? British in his films? I don't think so.
Not that
I
I'm
don't
aware
know.
of. To be fair, I've not seen, this is my third Tom Holland movie, so
I think
I'm
I've only seen one other Tom Holland that isn't Spider-Man, and funny enough, Robert Pattinson was in it, doing a
the
really
Devil
weird
of All
accent.
Time.
Yep, that's the
Yeah.
one.
I was gonna watch that and then I never did.
It's
So
okay.
yeah, I didn't hear great things about it.
Yeah, you
I
did
don't
miss
think
much.
he's ever played British. I only remember that he's British based off his mouth.
Wait, that's true. Remember that meme where it like
With the
looks like
frog in
he's
his
holding
mouth.
a frog in his
And
mouth?
they, literally 2 days ago, I saw that same meme about Lewis Pullman. And it's so true. He also looks like he
Yeah,
has a frog in his mouth.
he just always looks like he's holding something in.
He took the frog from Tom Holland's mouth.
They they French kissed.
He stole the frog.
Yeah. Wait, I have something to
Well,
say
the
about the Odyssey.
oh,
Sorry. You finish
okay,
your thought.
yeah.
Finish your thought.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say the only other Tom Holland movies I've seen are the first two Spider-Man movie. And
Yeah,
whenever I
same
guess
here.
he showed up in an Avengers movie that I might have seen.
Just whatever Marvel movie.
Yeah, some not like vague Marvel number seven. I saw him, I'm sure, in that.
At this point, it's like Marvel 47.
Yeah. I stopped watching a while ago, so
So, the Odyssey, this specific adaptation, Christopher Nolan, he said that he took inspiration from a
oh
translation
no.
by Emily Wilson.
Oh no, I know
Are
where this
you
is
are you
going.
aware? Are you aware of like Emily Wilson and all that?
Um, I've heard I've heard about her since the Odyssey came out.
So to give some context, she released an adaptation, not an adaptation, sorry, a translation
Mm-hmm.
of the Odyssey. I think it was in 2020 or somewhere around there. Well, that's when
Okay.
like her name started popping up
Mm-hmm.
in these sort of spaces because she her translation is different from previous translations where they would use like sort of flowery prose and really like dress
Mm-hmm.
it up. But she went for like a straightforward translation of
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit flatter than most people. So
Yeah.
the one of the key things that started some sort of discourse around her name is that she translated a word from servants into slave. So people
Mm.
were like a little bit upset about that because they're like she it's too harsh of a word or something. And she was saying like
Even
it's
though,
true, it's correct.
yeah, and really, if you think about it, servants are a form of, you know,
Slaves. Yeah.
slave,
So
whether
why
they're
would you want to beat
paid a
around the
little or
bush?
not. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm guessing in ancient Greece, they weren't paying their
No.
servants.
No. But other translations made it sound like they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They were serving happily, but she made it, sound realistic. So a lot of her
Hmm.
translations, a lot of the changes that she made are they sound more realistic than other translations. So Christopher Nolan, he did say that he took inspiration from her translation. So because of that, everybody kind of ran with it and said that he adapted her translation fully, which I don't think that's really the case. He just took
No,
inspiration, and
and
it's not
like,
her story.
yeah, she didn't write it. She's just
No.
translating it
Mm,
slightly different than somebody else would have translated it. And
mm,
also her style of translation, from what I hear about it, fits his style of directing to be a little bit more like forward and direct, and
yeah,
less like flowery, you know.
yeah,
So that I could see why he would take liberties of using that translation
mm,
when writing the script, because he's not really like a director who uses like language in that sense, you
yeah,
know. It is a very much a vehicle for like the plot And I
Yeah,
don't,
he's a
like he's not a
straightforward.
writing director.
No, he's like um a lot of his films are rooted in realism, which is what
Hmm.
I think Emily Wilson also her way of writing. But,
Yeah. My big takeaway that I remember when this discourse was kind of happening more was that everybody was labeling her as like a feminist translation because
mm,
she's a woman. So like
hmm.
obviously everything a woman does is inherently feminist just by the act of being a woman. And she was like, no, it's not like a feminist translation. I just happen to be a woman who translated it. And
I
so
think she's
everybody
one of
was
the
like,
only women that has translated the Odyssey and the Iliad. So
yeah. And so then like people were like debating if Nolan's adaptation was gonna be feminist. And it's like, no, because
clearly
it's
not.
not a feminist story. Like, just because a woman was like, Odysseus goes on the boat or whatever, it doesn't make it feminist. The story itself is not a feminist tale.
It's so strange.
Like, it's like you said, she didn't write the Odyssey.
Yeah. So
This isn't her
the
creation.
the debate is that because she has published two reviews at this point for the
Two?
Odyssey. Two, a new one just came out, but I haven't read that one
Girl, she's obsessed. I know she
yet.
didn't like it, which is
Yeah,
like
so
her complete, jurisdiction to not enjoy an adaptation of something very important to her.
mm,
But two reviews? Girl, give
it's a
it a
bit much.
break. Not to silence women, but like, come on. Did you forget something in the first one? You're like, I gotta go back for more.
It's like I have more to say. No, but like the her review, the first one at least, it starts off already like she doesn't like Nolan. Like she makes that quite clear. Um, one of the lines was, unlike some of Nolan's other films, the Odyssey is not boring. So she finds the rest of his filmography pretty boring.
I would argue, I mean, we're Nolan heads. I would argue that boring is not an issue for him.
No, I don't know.
I know there's a few movies of his I find a bit more boring. I'll give her that.
Yeah, like his earlier work, for me
Yeah.
personally, his earlier work is pretty hit or miss, but
I'm not a fan of Inception. That one, I've seen it
controversial.
twice. Yeah, I don't get the hype. And also I don't get the movie. There's that. I don't get it. I'll fully say that. Maybe I'm
Have you
stupid. I don't know.
have
And
you
controversial. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, you go.
Have you seen Tenet?
Yes, I liked Tenet more. I didn't understand that one either. But I liked it more. But the other movies of Nolan's that I would also say are boring, low key, are the Batman movies because
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything special.
Yeah. I think um I think his Batman films were the first ones that I've seen in my life. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
minus like the original cartoon that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
So, but I don't really like them. I do like the second one because like obviously it's pretty good. But the first
Yeah.
and the third one were I didn't like those. Those were really boring to me.
Well, I mean, Heath Ledger's performance is great, but does that make a movie not boring? I don't know.
It's debatable. So
Yeah.
my question to you that the reason why I brought this up, I wanted to ask you, as a scholar yourself, an academic, a published academic,
Stop. I'm blushing.
if like a filmmaker said that he took inspiration from your work, and I said I think the gender of the filmmaker is quite important. If a
Hmm.
male filmmaker took he said that he took inspiration from your work,
Hmm.
would you like review his film as critically or as like biasedly as Emily Wilson did
Mm,
for the Odyssey.
that's a great question. It's also hard for me to say because the work that I do is not really like adaptable. Like I'm analyzing other people's work.
But I think
So,
like there are like big ideas in your work that could be
yeah.
adapted or
Yeah.
inspired.
So if I was writing something that was, yeah, has since been published and somebody took maybe inspiration specifically from maybe an idea I propose,
Mm,
even like, okay, let's say like my recent article, like my word that I like came up with and kind of defined and stuff. And they
mhm.
took that as inspiration. They took the themes that I was writing about and maybe adapted it into potentially like a story of their own. I think I would be critical because I would be the source.
Yeah.
And I think it is, it's hard because like obviously she did not write the story, but it is near and dear that she knows the story intimately enough
Mm,
to create a translation of it. So she has not ownership, but like a little bit more of protectiveness for it. Um, I think it is good to be critical. I think I would be critical, especially if it's like referencing me specifically. I don't know if I would be overtly biased. That's hard to say. If, obviously I would have internal biases depending on who ends up creating it. There might be people I would have wished
yeah.
adapted it versus who actually ended up adapting it. But I would try to be more objective about what they ended up doing with it. And I think the criticism would be, do I feel that they understand what I was doing and did justice to their interpretation and how they, if I felt, I guess, like they didn't understand the core tenet of what I had been writing about and doing, I would be harsher because I would think, they took this idea of mine and don't know what they're doing. They don't like they don't know what I mean by it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I
I
think that's
guess,
what
yeah.
happened with Emily Wilson and
Yeah.
Nolan. She went on for the first review is about 4,000 words. So I would say
Whoa.
at least 2,000 of them she did go on about.
That's lengthy because
Mm,
my like that's like 15 pages or so roughly because like
yeah.
my article is like 5,000 something words and that's an entire article.
Emily Wilson's first review is about 5 pages long, double-sided. So
Jeez.
she has a lot to say. And
Yeah.
about like half of that is really just going on about how like Nolan didn't really understand the story or Odysseus himself, which um I think Nolan he writes one character, like he
Mm-hmm.
knows how to write one character, which is kind of himself.
Yeah. And like I think it's completely fair for her to have
Mhm.
criticism of him not understanding the text. I can't say whether I agree because I don't remember the text well.
Yeah,
But like I do believe that she has deeper understanding of the story. And I think also from what we typically see of Nolan,
yeah,
he's very much not, like even with some of his historical pieces of like Oppenheimer or Dunkirk, or like established characters in a franchise like Batman, he's not really doing work that has a lot of pre-existing work surrounding it or
yeah,
pre-existing knowledge and like public understanding or awareness. So he's a little bit more at liberty to not be completely like dead on. And this is kind of, from my knowledge of his films, the first we see of him taking something very structured and creating something out of it. He's not at much at liberty to do his own spin. I think he does a little bit from, the feedback. Um, so yeah.
I think obviously Emily Wilson, she's at like she has the right to be very protective over this subject.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like is when people like take her review and then use it to like justify their dislike for Christopher Nolan. Not
Yeah.
even just the film, just him himself. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta
Be-
watch the movie, and I guess you just have to be fair to both of them.
Yeah. Because her justification of not liking it is because she's so knowledgeable about the text. So it's
Mm,
completely reasonable for her to be like, yeah, I don't think he understands it. However, I
yeah.
do think she clearly doesn't like him as a director to begin with. And I don't think she's pleased that he is the specific director making an adaptation of a story that she loves. I don't think it would matter even if he didn't say that like she was an inspiration. I think she would still dislike his
Yeah.
adaptation of it. I think it
Yeah.
just hits deeper because he specifically references her as an inspiration for her translation.
Mm,
But like if she's calling his movies like boring and talking so much about his work specifically, then you can kind of infer that she just doesn't like his movies.
yeah.
And that makes it harder for her to see, an adaptation, especially because the
To be more objective.
Odyssey
Subjective.
doesn't have many film adaptations that I'm
No.
aware of.
No, people mostly try and adapt the Iliad, I think, or at least Achilles' story, like the Battle
Mm-hmm.
of Troy and stuff. But they wouldn't have
Yeah.
done, I don't think there are a lot of Odyssey stories.
No. So, like, yeah, it's probably tough for her to see something that she perceives to be poorly adapted.
Yeah.
It'd be different if, I would be curious to see who she would have rather had adapt this story. I
Yeah.
think generally Nolan's probably one of the directors that's more up to par for it.
Yeah.
Who would
If like
probably
you
be
want to do like an epic sort of film,
hmm
he's probably the best.
Yeah, if I had to pick maybe somebody who I think could capture the story and the writing a little bit more than maybe like a Scorsese,
Mm.
you know,
I mean, he
I
doesn't
think
write his own
he
films, but yeah.
he would work with somebody, but I think he would have a really good visual of it
Yeah,
and probably hone in stronger performances,
I think so. Yeah.
and direction
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Um, and I would be curious to see maybe, because he's a little bit more revered as well, if she would have less issue. I think ultimately, I don't know her. I haven't read her reviews. Jas didn't send them to me ahead of
Sorry.
time, or else I would have. Um, I think ultimately she's probably going to be unhappy with whoever adapts it, regardless of what translation they're inspired by. And I think that's totally in her, like right to do so because it's something that she cares so deeply about. And there's so many bad adaptations of stuff. I think it's in her right to not like it because so many things get adapted and are just poor imitations of the
Yeah.
original source.
I think even if like Nolan did an incredibly accurate film, like word for word, and if the film ended up being like 5 hours long, because the text is pretty dense, I think she would
Mm-hmm.
still find an issue with it, which is
Yeah.
whatever, it's fine. Now, let me rephrase the question I gave you earlier. If, let's say, Yorgos Lanthimos adapted or took
Oh.
inspiration from your work, would you do the same?
Yeah, I'd probably dog on his films. I would be pretty open about not liking, and because I would also, I think, yeah, I would have a little bit more judgment knowing the work that I do and the work that your ghost does. I don't think he would understand on a deep level or a deep enough level
Yeah.
to get it. And I think I would be much harsher because I would think, why were you drawn to this? What about this
Mm,
drew you in that you had to adapt it and then not understand it?
mm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But
I think I would
are you
just
comfortable with sharing like what type of like the topics that you
oh
study share?
yeah, I've been so like
Vague about
roundabout vague about it. I don't know. I do for context, I do a lot of like feminist analysis of usually like pop culture pieces like television and film. I do a lot of my inspiration, and this is also kind of on par for the subject. A lot of my inspiration comes very heavily from not only like feminist theory but also like queer and trans theory, to look at how very accessible forms of media is how I would maybe describe it, continue to perpetuate um and upkeep sort of like gender stereotypes, or stereotypes about sexuality, and how that shapes our own kind of individual but also like societal understanding of gender throughout time. So my recent publication that Jazz also kindly shouted out earlier
it's really good.
was look thank you, looking at how Stranger Things has the presence of homophobia limit the potential for homosexual like characters, and specifically like gay male characters. I mean also like lesbian characters within the show, but like how the presence of homophobia is too great of a threat to the actual narrative of homosexuality in the show. And then I also did work on like Poor Things and Barbie, and how like they construct women's bodies through sex and the history of women as sexual objects for male fantasy, and how that how Yorgos specifically in Poor Things repaints female sexuality and men having sex with women easily as the ultimate tool of female liberation. So that's a little backstory of me as a scholar. I think that's in a nutshell what I do.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so. Uh, are these like works easily accessible? Like, can people go and find them and read them?
Yeah, my article on Stranger Things is free to read and open access on Slayage. Um I I can link it, I think, in the
Yeah,
podcast description.
we'll put the
Um
links down below.
yeah. Um but yeah, so that's an open access journal. My other stuff has only been conference presentation, so no. And then my master's thesis is available to read as well. That's open access.
And
And that was on the TV show The Office, and how they upkeep and promote a very specific type of US white male hegemony. Um through kind of I was using trans theory to explore cis masculinity, and like looking at how gender identity changes and is perceived by how somebody fails or succeeds at presenting as their assigned and lived in gender, if that makes sense. So like looking at how a man who is always identified as a man and continues to be a man can be perceived in ways as living up to their gender stereotypes, or failing at succeeding as their gender, and thus the treatment of them as a person fluctuates by how others perceive their success at performing gender. Does that make any sense?
It does to me because I know it quite well because you talk about it enough for me to understand. So I hope those listening will understand. And if you don't, go ahead and read it. Educate
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm really proud of that one. I met Ed Helms. I gave it to
Yeah,
him. I don't know
fantastic.
if he's read it. I gave him my email and I've not
I
heard
hope
back
you
yet.
did.
It's been about a little over a year. So,
He was rendered speechless. He didn't know where to begin,
yeah.
for sure.
So,
I think this is an
but
excellent segue into going into our main topic, Hot Horror
yeah.
Summer. Go
How
ahead.
did, well, you kind of mentioned in the article, but Hot Horror Summer is a long-standing tradition of ours. I think this is my fifth summer logging it.
I'm
And
surprised
this
that
is
we're
your
not
sixth?
in sync. I
Well,
thought we were both in our sixth year.
no, because I only got Letterbox
Oh, right.
like 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's really
So,
funny because I was on Letterboxd before you because I was in film school and I met you in my
hmm.
last year. And I kept insisting that you get a Letterboxd and you were so against it. And
I
then
know because
now you like logged more films than me.
I'm obsessed with it. I love the app. I love the app so much that I paid for it. No,
Me
because
too.
I am not good at like cataloging things that I do. Like I read a ton and
Mm.
I don't have Goodreads. I literally only rate my books that I read on the library app.
I
So
didn't know you
I
could do that.
can't, yeah, like I can't even keep track of books that I've read throughout my life, and I wish I had, but now it feels so late in my life to like
No,
start.
you can do it again. You can start.
Yeah,
It's
but
never too
so
late.
like even when I first joined Letterbox, I think I was really bad at using it for like the first 3 months because I
Yeah.
watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, you were on the app, but you would after you finish a film, this is where I sound like a creep because I remember it. This is like 5, 6 years ago. You after you
Okay, my
finish a film,
stalker.
whatever, you would tell me about it, and then you'd also post on Instagram like your rating and your review, and then I would tell you, hey, you should log it on
Yeah.
Letterboxd.
Oh my God, I forgot I did that.
Yeah.
And then I just, yeah, then I wouldn't write the review for it like on the app. But also, I very rarely give serious in-depth reviews. And whenever I do, it's it's like completely random. There's no like rhyme or reason to what gets an in-depth review.
It's just whatever gives you inspiration,
Yeah.
So the origin of Hot Horror Summer, I think, um, when we
You
met,
did it first.
yeah, when we met, we were talking about because it was like the resurgence of the Saw movies. A lot of people
Yes.
were like rewatching them. So
Yeah.
I think you watched the first one first, and then I watched it, and then I
Mm-hmm.
was saying like I wanted to watch more horror films because it's a genre that I don't really go into. And
Mm-hmm.
you were saying the same thing as well. So it just so happened to be summer at the time. So that's when we started watching a lot of like horror films.
There's something so fun about watching scary movies predominantly in the summer too.
I love
Like
it.
I very rarely now watch horror films in October. It feels so gauche. But like to be in July watching horror movie after horror movie is really fun. There's something
Yeah.
about the genre in summer that does make sense. Um,
Maybe
when
it's like
I,
the Friday the 13th of it. You know what I mean?
yeah, when I first watched Saw, I watched it 3 times in 1 week.
You
It's
were
life
really into
changing.
it. And it was just that one film. It's not even the
Yeah, it
rest of
wasn't
Saw.
even, well, no, because I ended up watching the sequels because Spiral was about to come out.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that's why the Saw resurgence happened. Because I watched all the Saws. Actually, this I was living with my mom at the time, and she was out of town for like 2 weeks. So I had the house to myself. And I watched
Party.
all of the Saws and all of the Insidious films, scared myself. Because my cat, Styles, she was a baby at the time,
Oh.
and she was really rambunctious the way that Dex is now. And she would get in the closet in my room and like get on top of all of the stuff. There was um like a shelf that she would somehow get up in. She would climb on my clothes and get on the shelf. So she would do that and it freaked me out because I had just been watching scary movies all day. And I remember also I went to see the third Conjuring film, came home at night to a dark, empty house and like completely dark cul-de-sac. And like it's just scared myself to death. And then my mom got home from her trip and I was like, I want to go see Spiral, but it's only showing at 8 o'clock, and I don't want to come home by myself at 10 from the movies. And I was like, will you come with me? And she watched the trailer. She was like, oh, this looks fine. I like Chris Rock. So she came 10 minutes into the movie. She's like, Jesse, what did you drag me to? I said, go sneak into another theater and I'll meet you in an hour and a half. But she stayed and watched it.
Oh.
But that's my Saw journey.
I remember watching a horror film. I can't remember. Oh, it was It Too. I watched
Oh,
It Too.
classic.
I'm pretty sure this was before I met you. It was a year before I met you, I think. And I had gone to see it with my whole class at film school. And we watched the 9 p.m. showing, I think. Um,
Hmm.
we came in a little bit late, just like 20 young adults just walking in. And I, for some reason, had found sunglasses, so I kept it on at 9 p.m., mind you, in a dark
Okay, Noel
room.
Gallagher.
I slipped on the stairs, dropped my popcorn, everything,
Of
made a big mess. Anyway,
course.
then I got a little bit freaked out by the film because it was a little bit scary. It's not as scary now after watching so many films. But at the time it was pretty scary, and I would
Hmm.
uh go back to my dorm at about um pretty late at night, midnight, somewhere around there. So I texted my roommate at the time, like, hey, could you like make sure all the lights are on? Because like I'm a little scared. And it
I actually, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
She told me I'm not in town. Okay.
That's so
So
funny.
I came home to a dark house just like you.
I had a similar experience, but the opposite. Which
Similar but
sounds
opposite.
well, because I wasn't you in the story. I was your roommate in the
Okay.
story, where I saw it chapter two, also at like a 9 o'clock showing, when I was in college, and me and my friend went. Now, where I went to college, very small town, the buses stopped running at 11 p.m. and the movie
No.
theater was in town, and so we had a 40-minute walk back to campus
Mm.
at 11 p.m. But the thing was, I had finished the book that day. I'd been reading it for 2 years, and we also planned on rewatching the first It. So we had to schedule a lot of time and then go to a late showing. So we're walking back at like 1 in the morning, 40 minutes back to like the dorms. And my friend was scared of
Oh.
Pennywise. I wasn't. I was like, this movie's awesome. I would slow down my walk every so often without her realizing. So she would just be talking and I would start to fall back a few paces. And then she would realize I wasn't next to her, turn around, and I would run at her like Pennywise. But the worst part was I did that to her 3 times on the walk home.
Oh
The
my
worst
God.
part was she was staying the night in my dorm so that she wouldn't have to go back to her own like empty dorm because we both had singles and be by herself. But I was more scary than her just going back to her own dorm.
Oh my
because
God,
I
you're a
just kept
menace.
scaring her. And I asked her at one point, I was like, do you still like want to like spend the night? You know, because like I've just been like scaring you. And she's like, yeah, despite that, I still somehow feel safer spending the night with you.
Oh, that's
But
sweet.
I like,
Real friend.
yeah, I would just like run at her like Pennywise.
Ew, you did that on screen. I
So
when I was walking
oh,
home.
sorry.
Sorry. Finish your
That's
story.
okay. I was just gonna say I saw It Chapter 2 in theaters 4 times, and the fourth time that I saw it was at a discount theater. And I was the only person in the audience until for 10 minutes a staff like came in on their break and sat down in the back and then went back to work, which
I
was
love
scarier
that.
than anything in the movie because I was like, why is there all of a sudden a second person in this empty theater? And I was like texting my friends because I had obviously seen it like 3 times already. And I was alone in the theater and I was just like live blogging it.
That's I really want a theater job just so I could like sneak into movies and watch movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I watched it too, I also like walked back. We really live similar lives. I also
Yeah, we have
walked
the
back to my
exact same
dorms
thing.
with my friends and a couple of guys, my classmates. They our path from the mall and our dorms, the mall and my university campus are like right next to each other. So the walk is about like 20 minutes. So the
Yeah.
path, there are like some corners, some twists and turns. So the guys, they would walk ahead and like jump out at us at like the corners. And like I was the only one of our group that like, anticipated it and could see them obviously doing that because they kept doing it.
That's
So I was
so
the only one
funny.
not scared.
See, what did I say? Similar but opposite.
Yeah.
Literally the exact same situation, except I was the antagonist. Well, I only did it because she told me that her brother did it to her when they saw the first It. He would like jump out at her like Pennywise. And I was like, that's a great idea. If I know for sure that scares her, I'm gonna do that. But what a
Horrible.
time. 2019 was really the
Wow.
last real great year for
Everyone.
community.
Yeah.
The Goldfinch, It Chapter 2,
Yeah.
Finn
Was that
Wolfhard,
also the
you
summer of clowns? The Clown
no, that was
Brothers?
2016. Yeah.
Even further.
And now everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, let's live like it's 2016." This unicorn frappuccino is coming back to Starbucks. I'm sorry. 2016 from my memory was the year that everybody like hated so much and collectively decided not even before the year was over was the worst year of all time. There
Yeah.
was clowns
It was
outside of
horrible.
gas stations. Not to mention, a really horrible thing in the US happened in 2016 that forever changed our
Yeah.
political environment
And the rest of the world as well.
and
Yep.
the rest of the world. So I'm not sure why everybody wants to go back to that.
Nostalgia goggles.
Yeah.
You can't seem
And
to take them off.
everybody's also, they're doing 2016 wrong. They're really doing 2012 and they're like, oh my God,
They
2016,
are,
because
yeah. The
they don't know what they're
filters that they're
doing.
using, yeah, they're all
It's all
posers.
wrong. So Hot Horror Summer wasn't
This
that hot.
year, it's pretty hot, like temperature wise.
Well,
We
temperature
got
wise, it
heat
was
waves.
staggering, but the movies were not. The movies were
Uh,
lukewarm at best.
One of it was it was a bummer. It was good. It felt sad to me more than
Oh,
anything. It's
that
melancholic. Yeah,
that was the
bummer.
bummer, not
Yeah.
Rape the movie too.
Rape the movie too. It wasn't a bummer. I was like, damn, I really don't know how to feel about this because, well, number one, it's Rape the movie too.
You're watching Rape. You know that meme when it's like, why can't you watch the Odyssey? Why do you have to watch Rape the movie? That's us inadvertently.
There's a meme.
Yeah,
That's
there's
like
like a
that.
text. Yeah, there's like a the screenshot of a text where somebody's like asking the other person, and they're like, "Can you be normal and watch the Odyssey instead of rape the movie?"
That honestly
That
sounds like
keeps
our
happening to
text.
us. I'll try to find it for you, but literally, like that is what happened. So we're like, let's watch the Odyssey and review it, and then we just end up watching Rape the movie too because it
My
wasn't bad
mom,
enough the first time.
my mom asked me like, how the hell do we find these movies? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I
We're
think
cinephiles.
I think The Skin I Live In was on my list because of a queer theory course that I took.
Hmm. And it does suit it, I think. Yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I know
We
Skin I Live In, it was in the recommended for Vanilla Sky, which I watched.
Yeah.
And then when you
And
go
I
into the Skin I Live In, Eyes Without a Face is right under it. So
well, that makes a lot of sense. I think Eyes
yeah.
Without a Face I saved because I saw it on HBO,
Hmm.
and I think it was just in my watch list on HBO
Hmm.
because
I
HBO has
love the
like a
song.
ton of like classics. Well, every time I Googled a movie, the song popped up, and I was like, I don't know this song. I'm sure I do, but like
Definitely.
I
You definitely do.
I would have to listen to it, but um
It ended
yeah,
up on our Spotify blend, even though I never once played it.
I saw that. I just scared Dex. I saw that though. But I think that was the day I didn't listen to our blend and then I went to play it because it was a really good mix and it had updated. And I was like, I
Um,
didn't get a chance to listen to
it's not there anymore.
I literally neither one of us played this song, and yet somehow they knew to
And
put it in
it
our blend.
it labeled it as like from my side, which is weird.
That's crazy.
I
That
only like added it to my Insta stories when I shared my review. So
hmm
it can't be like it's connected. I don't know.
Well, it has to be because it's based off your Spotify.
I don't know. I mean like I searched it on like Instagram music.
They must have seen you searching for it, and they're like, "She needs to
Yeah.
listen to this song.
Yeah, she loves this song.
She loves it so much she's looking for it on another app."
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess Eyes Without a Face was pretty melancholic. I had a thing that I wanted to say about it that I didn't talk about in my review. This I remembered.
Mm,
So what I enjoyed about Eyes Without a Face was the agency awarded Christy Ann's character. I really liked her ending. It was very like melancholic and bittersweet because like she had to free herself from such an awful like situation that was really born out, I think, of good intent. Um, and like to free the other girl and give her back her freedom was also awarding Christiane herself her freedom. She freed like the animals and stuff. And I don't think she ultimately is still pleased about the life that she's living. I think like she does wish that she had actually like died, but she at least is in enough control and autonomous like as a character that I really appreciated. And I think I wish I had seen that ending from Obsession
mm.
with the main character because that was my biggest gripe with the film. Speaking of Rape the movie,
Rape the movie tree.
yeah, like I thought the film was fine. It wasn't my favorite, but I thought there was good elements. But my biggest gripe with the film, and I talk about this in my note review that I did of it, was that up until the end, uh Nikki has no agency in the whole movie, which I know was the point of the wish was stripping her of the agency, but I wish she had reclaimed it in like a final girl way of like being able to break herself out of the wish or wish for a way to free herself. But that never happened. And then spoiler, do you care?
No. I know
Um
I know what happens in the movie.
yeah. Um like she is just left with all the dead bodies of the people that she killed, well, like not herself. And it just feels like that's another stripping back of her agency and like her autonomy, because she is now solely responsible because the bear is dead. And I think I had wished that she had a little bit more Christiane's like breaking herself out of it. Like it wouldn't have been perfect because yes, like under the influence of the spell, Nikki did murder people. And like that is probably gonna be found. We don't know, you know? So I wish Obsession had followed Eyes Without a Face a little bit because I did really appreciate that as an ending, I think, for like a very distraught character.
Yeah. And a yeah, a similar thing happened in The Skin I Live In where like
Mm-hmm.
well, I already forgot her name. Vera. I think it was Vera. She, got her agency back and then she tried to go back to the life that she knew before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know how much spoilers we can give.
Yeah, that one's a tricky one because the less you know about the movie, the better.
Mm,
Because otherwise, I think the spoilers kind of just ruin any sort of like intrigue it has.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I also like, this is like a classic thing in films. And where I didn't like it in Obsession, I liked it in these movies, where it kind of just ends at that happy moment and we don't actually know the repercussions and consequences to follow. We can kind of live in the character's happiness for a moment, or at least like the guise of like freedom,
yeah,
because we realistically know that more negative stuff is on the horizon.
yeah.
We know that, like, for example, Vera is going to struggle to adapt to the life
Her previous life.
that yeah, she, for all intents and purposes, cannot return to the life that she's used to.
Yeah.
And so that we know that's going to be a struggle. And just like we know that Christiane can't really live normally because of her deformity and
Mm,
the way that she has to obscure her face, we know that's going to be a struggle, that she's not really going to be able to engage with society.
yeah.
But in the moment of the movie's ending, we have enough hope because of
Mm,
how they've freed themselves from the situation that it feels at least better. And something like Obsession, for example, there's not enough hope because we're so worried about like the consequences of her waking up all of a sudden surrounded by dead bodies, and she has no explanation for why they're dead because she did murder them without being in control of herself. And you're just kind of like, well, now I just feel bad because, yeah, maybe she's out of the control of the wish, but she just has all these other things. So it ending right at her waking up from the wish is not a hopeful ending because so much is still bad, you know? And I think if she had freed herself, there's at least a little bit of that tethering to hope.
yeah. I wonder if that's like a an issue with modern writing because Eyes Without a
Mm-hmm.
Face and The Skin I Live In, those are older films. I mean, The Skin I Live In was like 2011, so it's still pretty old,
I
but
didn't realize though how modern it still was.
yeah,
I thought it
yeah.
was older.
Based on like the poster that I thought it was like at least 90s or like early aughts, but it's
Yeah,
2011.
I thought it was from like 2005 or something.
Yeah, but I did like how they colored it. But yeah, um, modern writing, modern films versus older films is it's really interesting because nowadays, I mean, you see it with the Odyssey as well. The audience kind of expects very hard realism from film,
Mm,
and like audiences aren't really willing to imagine more things. You know? They want
yeah.
explanations for everything. I don't know.
And with
It's
with
interesting.
horror specifically, it's not needing to be tied to reality to work. And I
Mm,
think that's what's hard about modern horror and like elevated horror is that it is so tied to reality that anytime anything kind of deviates from that realism, it's cheesy, you know?
Yeah,
But it's like what works about horror is that it is very fantastical and, built from folklore often, that to be so chained to reality is a hindrance of the genre itself.
yeah,
I mean, if you think about even something like Eggers' Nosferatu, for example, a few years ago, it's not so much specifically in the confines of a horror genre, but I mean, obviously from being like from Dracula and the original Nosferatu, like it doesn't, it has realism in the way that he's approaching it historically, but it's still a fantasy horror, like gothic story that we can detach enough from what is the context of the story and the environment of the story that it works, and I don't think he played into being trapped by reality too much. I think criticism to it was trapped by reality from what I remember. Um, but yeah, I mean like horror doesn't need to like be realistic.
yeah. Horror really depends on the suspension of disbelief. I think is what
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to say. And
Yeah.
even like modern horror films, you can't like have a ghost and like just have the ghost be there because a lot of the like audiences will they'll kind of demand for you to like explain the ghost. They want you to
Mm-hmm.
take a stance. Are ghosts real? Are like
Yeah.
magical things, supernatural things real? And then like a lot of horror films still take the stance of like, oh, the ghost is actually just a manifestation of their trauma.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say is it's always a metaphor for something. Like
Yeah.
that was my biggest complaints when I saw Backrooms. I don't know the Reddit lore or whatever it is. But like it got so aggravating at the end when it was like this is just like a metaphor for the trauma and like we need therapy, and it's like this is a movie about like rooms.
A room, literally a room.
Like it's rooms expanding to be like messed up versions of other rooms.
They're just
Why
hallways. If you're scared
why
of an
are we
empty
doing
room,
yeah, like why are we doing therapy speak about the rooms? I don't know. And it just like so completely lost me. I didn't like the movie much in general, but like that really, I was just like, oh my God, like of course a 20-year-old is like, we need to therapize everybody.
are
And I was
you
like,
in the right headspace to receive horror?
this film. Yeah, and it's like, shut up, man. That's not you. A therapist is not scary to me, other than how bored I am at the concept of watching a movie about a therapist.
I'm scared of the boredom I'll feel.
Yeah, like that's scary. But oh no, he's traumatized about this room. Whatever.
Confronting my demons is more terrifying than like the demon of um I can't remember any demon names now, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why do I also like well, okay, what I was gonna say too, like also is about the suspension of disbelief. Horror works better when we don't know if it's real or not. Like to
Yeah, the
me personally,
ambiguity.
well, and personally, like somebody like me who is more like, I guess, like spiritual or willing to believe in certain things, like demon movies freak me out. You know why?
Mm.
Because I can't prove that a demon isn't real. You
We
know?
still somewhat believe in like demons.
Yeah. Like that's still so present in a lot of people's belief of the like material world around us and like the spiritual world is that demons could be real.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about dead loved ones as if a ghost or a spirit is a real thing that exists without really tangible proof. So when you have like a horror movie about demons and ghosts, it is scarier, than okay, maybe to me, like a serial killer movie is a little bit less scary than like a demon movie because I know a serial killer is real, but I can't tell you if a demon's real or not. It could
They
be.
you are like kind of more likely to be haunted by a demon than you are to um cross paths with a serial killer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Can I tell you um my horror story? Uh
No. What if I just was like, no, I don't want that.
then we move on. But
No, of course you can tell me. You need
a
to
lot of
ask
my
for
friends,
permission.
well, whatever. A lot of my friends tell me that I'm haunted because
You
in
would believe that?
almost I don't believe that, but
Okay.
everybody tells me that. So what am I supposed to say no? I'm the one living it. So in a lot of places that I live in, that the
hmm
places that I inhabit, I am always like there's always some strange noise, strange things happening going on with me. And to preface all of this, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts and stuff, mostly because
hmm
I've never seen one. And in my country, in
Mm.
Malaysia, one in like 1 in 3 people have seen ghosts. They've encountered some supernatural thing. My mother has seen a possession in her office. Yeah,
Whoa.
someone
In
in her
her
office got,
office
yeah, her like
at work?
her coworker got possessed. My cousin got possessed.
That's what?
Yeah, like
Y'all
really
got
just
weak
went insane.
spirits.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, but I personally have never encountered it. I've never seen a ghost. I've never seen a possession or something like that. Everyone thinks I'm insane because I say I want to see that. I want to see a ghost.
You want to believe.
I want to believe so bad. I have the X-Files poster. So I want to believe, I want to see, but I never see, I only hear. And even then I'm like, well, you can kind of explain it away. So
Yeah.
in my like college dorms, I've moved around in college, so I've had a few. In all of them, there are always like some scratching noises and like things falling from wherever. And
Oh.
I've left like a phone recording in my dorm when I
Oh,
go to class. And then when I come back, it's like recorded like at least 6 hours. So then I listen to it with my friends, and you can hear like so many scratching noises and like
dude,
real.
stop. I'm getting freaked out. It's nighttime for me.
But the thing is, when I listen to it, I just go, maybe it's the wind. And
That's
everyone's like,
freaky.
you are being haunted, you're being possessed. And I go, I don't
You're
think
so
so.
nonchalant about it too.
I'm
Um,
just here to
I
chill.
I have seen a ghost, I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah?
sure.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I was driving home one night in high school and I had been working at JC Penney and I was
Classic.
driving home, classic high school job. And it was nighttime and I was really like maybe like a block away from like my house.
Mm,
Um and I thought I saw somebody running across the street like you know,
mhm.
real quick to not get hit by cars. So I slowed down because I'm like, I don't want to hit a person. I
Yeah.
saw him like roll into the grass, the sidewalk. So I'm like, I look out, just to make sure like they're fine. I'm obviously not gonna slow down enough to stop because it's like 10 p.m. and I thought I had seen a man, and I was like, yeah, I'm not pulling over as a high school girl to check on a man.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't hit anybody. Um, and then nobody was there, but I had remember seeing so distinctly like a orangish, like beigeish, like figure. And I remember like the motion of running and rolling into the ground. enough to a point where like it felt like I had seen somebody run,
Ooh.
quickly in front of my car. Um, so yeah, I think I've seen a ghost.
You want some explanations? I think maybe it's a cat. Big cat.
No, because they were my eye line and nothing was in the sidewalk.
Deer?
Like, no, there wouldn't have been deer where I grew up.
Okay. Maybe you
Well,
were
because
really tired.
okay, but the thing is that I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
if the what freaked me out more was just the fact that like where I was looking,
Mm,
I would have seen if they went off into a different direction. So if
right.
something had run, whether it be an animal or not, I would have seen it because it was a pretty like open, like it wasn't like hidden, or there wasn't bushes or anything, it was just
Mhm.
like on the sidewalk. And then there was a wall of rocks to where like my backyard was.
Yeah.
So I would have seen something and I didn't see anything of
Spooky.
yeah, and like it was tall enough where it was like I was seeing it waist up. That's
Mm,
what I could make out, like the shape.
right. Yeah.
So
So that
that's my
makes it
experience.
um just about everybody in my life who has seen a ghost
Yeah,
or some
well,
sort of thing. I've never seen it. Neither has my brother. We've never seen any sort of supernatural thing. And it was very funny. Uh, my old school, when I was in primary school, it was haunted, so they say. It was like it used to be like a hospital or whatever. The building was built on like an old hospital. So a lot of
hmm.
kids saw ghosts in like our bathrooms or in like the main hall or whatever. Never once saw it.
Wow.
I went to a
Maybe you
really
want it
old
too
house.
bad.
I think so. I think I really wanted like so bad. All the ghosts are like never mind.
Yeah, because like you just have to be open to it, but not thinking about it. Because I feel like I'm open to the idea of like spirits and
Hmm.
stuff, and like I don't discredit that that's a possibility, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not
Um,
a full skeptic, and nor am I provoking anything. It's just that
yeah.
I'm open and I'm willing to see. But
Like don't pull out
I
a Ouija board.
no, no, let me tell you. When I was working on a horror film, one of the producers, he wanted like uh what is it called? A voodoo doll. He
Ooh,
wanted,
no.
and because I was the art director, he wanted me to make it. And I said, listen, I'll do whatever you guys want. Like, I'll make the environment as freaky and creepy as possible, but I will not mess with voodoo dolls. If you want it, you make it.
Well, especially
That's that.
because like voodoo is a real
It's an actual practice.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like there is a documented,
Mm,
established like practice that is passed down like through generation of like culture and stuff. And it's
yeah.
not just like a spooky like gimmick. Like that's a
Yeah.
real thing.
It's disrespectful, and I don't want to mess with that. Like
Hmm.
real,
Mm-mm.
rooted in real practices. I don't want to mess with that.
No. And like, horror as a genre as well, kind of related to what we're talking about, but not.
I think
What
it
really freaks me out on top of like demon films is found footage films. Because it's more realistic,
when done well. Yeah,
when done well, found footage is like the best genre.
it's
Oh my
so
gosh.
good.
It feels so realistic and personal.
Mm,
And then you pair it with something that you can't disprove.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Like, like like serial killer movies
I never take them
are,
seriously because, like, as
yeah,
well done as they could be, at
they
the end of
very
the day,
rarely are.
it's just entertainment, really. So
Yeah.
you're not
Like
really scared.
I've seen all of the Halloween movies, and it's like You think I'm taking Michael Myers serious?
They
Listen,
just stand.
I'm not dogging on the Halloween franchise.
You're
There's a
probably the biggest
reason.
fan.
Well, I don't know about that. There is a reason I sat down and watched all of the Halloween movies, not just because I wanted to kill time. Um, but that being said, Halloween Ends is probably the greatest horror movie ever made.
How did you pronounce it? Halloween.
I said it exactly right. I didn't say it
Okay.
wrong. I said it right.
Okay. Whatever
I
you
got
say.
I got corrected just yesterday. I watched a really bad horror movie, Suitable Flesh, which I should have known would have been bad because it was a Shudder original.
Oh.
And I said intestines. And Mel was like, "You mean intestines?" It's like, okay, well, tomato
I
tomato. I
That's
think intestines is
intestines.
a correct pronunciation.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it. Intestines. And
Yeah,
however I
I
pronounce
think,
things is correct.
well, I think it's a more British pronunciation that I should not have, not having grown up with, British English, that I probably shouldn't be pronouncing it intestines.
The other
But
day, I pronounced a word. I said it out loud and I was like, wow, that's really British. I'm trying to remember. I think it was grass.
I
Yeah.
said miffed today because
Oh,
you
because
kept
I said this.
saying it. And then was talking to a coworker and I said, "Oh, I'm not going to be miffed." And I was like, when have I ever said that? And
I'm
I felt
influenced.
in that moment like a poser because I was like, I only said that because Jazz like said it to me like 10 times.
Proper miffed I am.
I'm
Proper
proper
miffed.
miffed.
Take me
I
to the Netherlands. Call me Miffy the way I'm so miffed.
That was really good.
Thank you.
That was an A+ joke.
Did you know that there's going to be a new Insidious film?
Yes, because I saw the trailer for it and
Me
I
too.
thought we ended the Insidious franchise.
Me too.
The last one was decent. It felt very, sorry, I just heard glass break outside and we're talking about horror movies and there was like I live by the dumpsters. So I'm always hearing garbage. I'm just on edge because of your demon stories. Um I
Everybody believes it but
thought
me, the one that experienced it.
I thought the last Insidious was a nice little wrap up. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's like, I guess it's the end of that certain family, their
Yeah, the new
story.
one doesn't look very good. Can I say something crazy about
I think most
Insidious?
most Insidious movies don't really look very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say Insidious as a franchise looks like it's meant to be a made for TV movie.
Yeah,
No
that's
disrespect.
probably it.
No disrespect to our icon Lee Winnell, our goat, but like, why doesn't the first Insidious especially is like a Lifetime movie how it looks?
The coloring and like the
It's
very
so
basic
bad.
sets. Come on.
Yeah, it's awful. And I think, okay, I know we've brought this up so many episodes.
I
I think the house from Insidious is the house that they filmed the Fablemans in.
can't remember either film to agree or disagree, but okay.
That's my way of sneaking in another reference to the Fablemans for some reason. I think the houses are the same. Um, so in your introduction to our article, you allude to the fact that there's a theme. And
Yeah.
I continued the theme of my other watches. The theme of this month was not just plastic surgery, I think.
Mm.
Um, but I wrote very much if love is a justification to keep someone alive or to try and save somebody. If love is just enough of a reason, you
I
know.
like that. Yeah. When I read your reviews, I was like, oh, I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, because they both do something, an act in the name of love. And I continued, I'll just share what I
Go ahead.
watched that continues that because I made it actually surgery and medical horror as a sub theme. So I watched Crimes of the Future,
Mhm.
which was awful. um, A Cure for Wellness, which was also
Also,
bad. Suddenly Last Summer, which was fine.
I thought that was a French film. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, I think that's on my list. And then I checked it and I was like, no, definitely not.
No, that is Katharine Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor in
Mm.
Montgomery Clift, where Katharine Hepburn is trying to get a lobotomy for Elizabeth Taylor to cover up the death of her son, or like so she doesn't reveal how her son actually died or something because they were like together when they
Mm.
died or when he died. So it's like kind of medical because it's like
A
it was
lot.
in the name of love for the son that she was trying to lobotomize Elizabeth Taylor.
Um,
And then
there
I
should be
watched what
more
it
lobotomies in cinema. I
there
can
should
name
be more
one.
lobotomies.
I can name one lobotomy movie.
What
Sucker
movie is that?
Punch.
I haven't seen it. I can
It's
name
a
one.
really old film. Not an old film. It was like in the 2010s, Zack Snyder.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can name one, the movie I just named.
Well, there you go. We got two.
And then I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And
Mm.
then I watched not the new Obsession, but the Brian De Palma Obsession,
Ooh.
which was my number one of Hot Horror Summer, which technically it's not really a horror movie, but
I
it's a
count
thriller.
I count thriller and suspense and horror all within like the same umbrella. I mean,
Yeah.
in one of my hot horror lists, I put Jaws, and I kept debating like, is that a horror film? Is it? Is it?
I
Is it?
think
It's
I
literally
think
about a
so.
shark that kills people. So,
Well, I just remember how scared everybody was when it came out. Not because I was there in the 70s. I wasn't alive. I'm far too young.
far too young
But
and beautiful.
I'm just too young and beautiful to have been alive when Jaws came out. Um, but just the cultural zeitgeist around Jaws is everybody was really scared of it when it came out.
Yeah, Spielberg quite literally changed everybody's relationship to sharks, and that
Yeah.
birthed Shark Week.
Wow, he's kind of like an icon if you think about it.
Yeah, but in a good and negative way.
Yeah. Well, he was really good with the Fablemans.
I'm starting to think you really love The Fablemans.
It was a good movie.
It is, yeah.
It was.
I have a question. Do you
Okay.
think um with the rise of Instagram face there'll be a horror film sometime soon about how everyone is like turned into clones or something?
Um, yes, I think that is a very real avenue for a film. It this theme that we had reminds me of the Twilight Zone episode where the girl gets facial reconstruction surgery
Ooh,
and they're trying to fix her face because she's like they think, oh my God, there's something wrong with her, there's something wrong with her, she's so deformed. And then the reveal at the end of the episode, spoiler for a show from the 1950s, is that
no, I was planning to watch
she
it.
she had been born, quote unquote, conventionally attractive, but lived in a world where everybody had some sort of like extremity or deformed face and they were all like creature like. So
Oh,
they were like, oh my God, we couldn't fix her by making her like an ugly
ugly.
like person, from our perception.
Yeah.
And so the horror was the fact that she was like conventionally, attractive, but that wasn't the convention. So she
Mm.
was like, "Oh my God, I'm like so ugly." And it was like, I think that is really interesting of like it literally, obviously is just like what the majority of the beauty standard is can dictate the self-worth. And that reminded me of what I wanted to talk about from the article
All right.
that we read
Yeah.
was the idea, and this is not so much, I think, as present in these movies because the central characters that are have surgery performed on them are not willingly asking for that surgery, but just the idea of plastic surgery in the beauty industry as a whole, especially as a movie theme. The idea of like the female uh narcissism and narcissus, which was coined by the 1970s feminist philosopher Sandra Bartkey, on how women are like encouraged both on purpose and inadvertently, or like directly or covertly, to become so occupied or preoccupied with our appearance that like we are like, not only is society the panopticon of women's beauty habits, but we've turned so inward on only reflecting on ourselves and being consumed with thinking about how do we look? How do we fix how we look? That it takes away like all our mental capabilities from other things because we are the product basically of the consumerist like habit, and then women become the ultimate consumers because we have to consume like material goods, capitalist goods, for quote unquote fixing ourselves.
Mm.
Basically, the idea, the film terminology of the male gaze, which everybody misuses, but that gaze is turned inward, and the panopticon is everything is watching us, and like we are now women are simultaneously the other gazing at ourselves and ourselves gazing at ourselves, so we are like dually watching ourselves, but by how like we are being, how we expect we are being perceived by society at large and how we perceive ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it reminds me of this quote from can't remember who, but women we have become our own voyeurs in our mind.
Mm-hmm. No, but
We,
that's like,
yeah, we're
it,
constantly performing for
yeah,
ourselves.
that's exactly it because we've internalized that gaze
Mm,
where we expect others to be searching for the flaws in
mm,
us. So
yeah,
we are now also searching to the point that we become almost like othered from our own bodies because
yeah,
we only view our bodies as something that needs to either be performing or fixed.
yeah,
That we almost lose that autonomy with ourselves.
mm,
Our bodies become a different thing,
yeah.
from
We're
our
constantly
minds.
like optimizing our bodies, our faces, our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so much of that is, I think, built from the pressure surrounding women's bodies and
mm,
faces,
yeah,
that is put on us. But then we also become the hyper consumers that keep that industry alive. That
yeah,
industry is targeting our insecurities, but our insecurities directly feed that industry. And that sounds really victim blamey, but like it's an ingrained way of thinking that it's like, what is it? Ouroboros when the snake is eating its own tail.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So,
We are the products and the main consumers of the product.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Um,
And like
and so
every day, like new insecurities are formed. Somebody was
Yeah.
insecure about the size of their wrists or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like there's no reason that we should be so consumed with the self, you
Mm,
know.
yeah.
And it is, and then that consumption that is bred into us, um, and encouraged is then seen as a negative attribute of women being self-obsessed and vain
Yeah.
when it's a byproduct of the expectation that others are always watching us,
Like
you know?
we're kind of like taught to be vain, and then like
Hmm.
we get faulted for being vain. So it's like
Yeah, when it's like, you know,
you
it's like
taught me to do
that's what
this.
you wanted us to do.
Yeah.
And then that does limit, you know, our capability of other ways that like women can succeed, you know, because it takes up time, you know, it causes distraction from other, and I'm not saying like women aren't successful or women aren't successful because they wear makeup. That's like not what I'm saying, you know. It's like it just the preoccupation with our bodies and the money that we spend towards our bodies does inhibit other avenues that women could have of creativity or successes by taking up a large chunk of time. You know, there is the debate, or not debate, but the discourse of like women waking up an extra hour early to do their hair before work, you know,
Yeah.
so they're missing out on sleep, you know. There is like women spending hundreds of dollars at like wellness spas or on juice cleanses when that could be like funding a hobby or an
Yeah.
education. And it's not to say that those things can't coexist. It's just the fact that money gets mitigated and time gets mitigated to things that are not necessarily always for the benefit of
Yeah.
a
The
person directly.
the system is kind of designed to keep you tired and underfed and like understimulated
Mm-hmm.
so that
Yeah.
you can also buy into these uh sort of optimization schemes
Mm-hmm.
like you know, Pilates or juice cleanses and
Mm-hmm.
like influencers always saying you have to optimize your life. That's what we always hear nowadays. You have to optimize your
Yeah.
life like we're a program.
Yeah, and it's not to say that those things like,
Obviously there
you
are
know,
benefits to them, like you can keep
yeah.
healthy, but like
But that's not
you're still
that's not how
not.
they're packaged to
Yeah.
like women to consume them. They're
Yeah.
not packaged as like this is good for your body because your organs need these things. They're like
Mhm.
this is good for your body to lose weight.
Mhm.
So you look better, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like that to me is more sinister than the object of a woman going to a Pilates class or doing skincare because we should take care of our bodies and our
Yeah.
skin because we need those things to function properly to keep
Mm.
us alive, you know, or to keep us protected, you know, and
Mm.
like, you know, you wear sunscreen to protect yourself from skin cancer. Sunscreen is not a vain act of like the byproduct of femininity, you know. It's just
Sunscreen
like,
on its own is obviously useful, but when it's like tinted sunscreen, like sunscreen with like a little bit of foundation or something, then there's like
mm-hmm.
a different thing. So like these um systems are usually focused on like how you will look rather than how you'll
Yeah.
feel,
It's
you
not the
know?
like the health benefit. Yeah.
There are solutions, but
Yeah.
they're being sold as the cure, you know?
Yeah, and they don't get marketed that way ultimately to men. Like you don't
No.
like sell men like juice cleanses because they'll get like a snatched waist, you know. It's like they
They
sell
just sell
toothpaste is like,
protein shakes so that
yeah,
they
you
gain
need
muscle.
protein. Yeah, which of course obviously is another, you know, beauty convention.
Mm,
It's just, you know, not to be and, unwoke. It's a little less pressing, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Male eating disorders, they're very normalized rather
Yeah.
than like female ones. I don't know.
Because
They look
like
different
they
is the thing.
do. Yeah. Because male eating disorders typically are leading to still a version of strength,
Yeah,
where
muscles and stuff.
women's eating disorders tend to lead to frailty.
Skeletal.
Um, and like they're both obviously unhealthy
Mm,
and nobody should have an eating disorder.
yeah.
Uh, but the purpose and the stigma, I mean, even like, okay, so like the idea that women have to be like super skinny, but then if she's too skinny, she's wrong and she's promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. And we
She
don't, but
looks scary.
yeah, but then we don't take a woman serious when she's starving herself to the brink of death.
Mm,
And it's her fault that she's just so insecure and so obsessed with herself,
yeah.
rather than like an actual thing causing her to believe that she needs to starve herself then. Where then, like, yeah, so it is like different, even how it's discussed, how you were talking about like how men's are normalized. But you know what, like I think about like clavicular, for example,
Oh,
um,
the
the
looks maxer.
looks maxer.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think how little, I guess, I care of the extremes of what he's doing to his body, because again, it's only novelty because it's a man. You know,
Yeah,
it's not novel that he's doing plastic surgery. It's the fact that a
yeah.
man is doing plastic surgery for his own vanity.
Because you never see a vain man.
Yeah. You never see men get hair transplants.
No. You never see men on Ozempic.
Yeah. But like it's not, yeah, like he's not doing it for any purpose. He's literally only doing plastic surgery or like going to extreme measures to harm his body to look better,
Yeah. That
you
one
know.
it's really for real vain. Whereas like muscle bros, gym bros, you can say like, oh, they want to get like stronger or whatever. But even then,
Yeah.
muscles, they're just might be muscles because they're useless.
Yeah. Like they're, yeah, like bodybuilders and stuff. It's like they don't serve a purpose after a certain point.
No.
Um, yeah, so and then like you think of like historically, when for example, in Andrea Dworkin's Woman Hating, her first book, bringing up Dworkin on the pod.
Of course.
Of course. She talks about like three different versions of beauty practices that directly oppress women's motor functions, essentially.
Mm.
And one of them was, now I'll preface that I don't know a ton historically about this practice, but like Chinese foot binding.
Oh, I know quite a bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how, that is forever impacting and changing the shape of the foot. And
Hmm.
I think, and this is a crazy connection, and then I'll let you speak more on the topic probably. I think of clavicular hitting his jaw with hammers to change the shape of his hammer. And I think,
His jaw.
how is that any to change the shape of his jaw, not to change the shape of the hammer? Thank you. And I think, obviously it's different, because he's imposing that on himself and it's not like a cultural thing that's being imposed. But I think like that's really just another like that's not different. You know what
The
I
idea
mean?
is the
Like that's
same.
yeah, the idea is the same of
Yeah.
deforming the body to fit a standard
Mm.
that cherishes that deformity.
Yeah, it's hurting
Obviously,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm the first person on earth to compare clavicular hitting himself in the face with hammers to Chinese foot binding.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I think quite a number of people have connected these two, and
Well,
I
I haven't
think
seen it.
okay, I think clavicular, or whatever his name is, um, it is it just narrowly escapes the hitting yourself with a hammer, changing your jaw. Like he nearly influenced a lot of young men to do that. He just
Hmm.
narrowly it stopped somehow to the not
Yeah.
like it didn't manage to make like a societal wave like the foot binding thing.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
obviously like carried through
centuries,
centuries,
generation.
where like he
Yeah,
is one person. And
hmm.
obviously I think there's more people that are doing it, but probably not to
We
the
just
great
haven't seen them. Yeah.
extremes.
Hmm.
He probably got the idea from someone else and he just made it more popular.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like, and again, it's like going back to like even when men are engaging in these kind of disordered habits of, you know, hurting the body or changing the body, um, it's never, well, not never, because I
It's
don't want to
usually
say,
individual, I
yeah,
think is what you're trying to say.
it's not expected of them.
Mm.
And somehow they came to that like conclusion. I'm not saying this very well, but yeah, what you said, it's individual.
Yeah, for men's actions, they tend to stop at the individual. And
Mm-hmm.
when like they're doing something at fault, society tends to look at the one man. But when
Mm-hmm.
a woman does anything, any sort of thing, she has to answer for the collective women
Yeah.
as a whole, which is unfair,
Yeah,
obviously.
absolutely. And then, but like at the same time, a woman choosing to do something like, let's say, plastic surgery or something, is still treated as an individual problem that she's
Yeah.
unhappy with herself, and
Yeah.
never like why she's unhappy with herself.
Yeah.
With and where men, I think, are awarded a little bit more of like, oh, well, he's unhappy with himself because like women expect men to have muscles,
And it's
you
still
know.
women's fault.
Yeah, it's still women's fault. Or like men will be more successful if they have a certain physique or a certain look. So he's only trying to like live up to like standards for men. And I was like, you know, and my equal take is that both people, groups, every gender is trying to live up to some standard that they didn't
No
individually
way.
set.
No way. That's
Nobody's ever had
crazy.
that take before.
That's insane. It's like society is trying to do something to us.
I know. So,
Society.
and that I think loops around to something you kind of want to talk about. The gendered monster in horror.
Yeah. Uh, I have to spoil the skin I live in a little bit, but I think we're like deep into the podcast that I'm allowed to.
Oh.
Um, it's really interesting how uh Vera, the main character of the skin I
Mm-hmm.
live um in a past life of hers, she did something really terrible, really awful that Antonio Banderas's character, he had to punish her by changing her body. And then that punishment itself, he like built a prison in her own body. And like
Mm-hmm.
it shows that like um the female body is a prison and a punishment
Yeah.
on its own. So like
Mm-hmm.
the female gender is the monster. Did I explain
Yeah.
that properly?
No, I totally get what you're saying because like yeah, because he weaponizes her body not just as a prison, but also to perpetuate a victim status onto her. And
Mm.
then she becomes
She's like stripped of
continuously,
her power as well.
yeah, and she's continuously put in vulnerable positions by having a female body. Like for example, she is now like raped in one of the scenes,
Mm.
which only occurs because of how she looks,
Yeah,
specifically, without spoiling too much about the movie. Um, which, yeah, like does create a punishment, simply like a continued punishment
mm,
by what Antonio Banderas does to her body.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you take that, like the concept of like um the the female gender as a monster, when you compare that to Eyes Without a Face, it I don't think it would matter much if Christiane was a woman. But I think, would her father still commit all those acts if she was a son? Do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because her beauty is the driving force.
Yeah, and I don't think he would commit the acts that he did if it was a
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Um, because yeah, he's so guilt stricken that her beauty got taken away.
Not even
And
that, like
that's
the rest of her personality. We don't know the rest of her
yeah,
personality, like her
it's
beauty.
and yeah, she's like she is imprisoned by not being beautiful anymore,
Yeah.
or beautiful in the way that she once was. And now her imprisonment is a little, well, it's Vera's was also literal of how she was kept captive.
Mm.
Um, Christiane's was also literal in the sense that she was trapped in the house, but then her imprisonment comes from watching how her father kills other girls in her
In her
quote
name.
unquote honor. Yeah, in her
Yeah.
name. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know how to wrap that up. It's like,
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know. It's
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 well,
it's weird.
yeah, and it's so hard to talk about without spoiling
Spoiling.
the skin I live in. So
Yeah.
we can only really talk in like half thoughts.
Yeah. But
So
at the same time, like I don't know if I want I would suggest people to go watch The Skin I Live In. It's a good
no,
like production, you know?
that's a good way of putting it. I think the twist, for lack of better terms, is excellent because it's shocking. It serves
Mm,
as a true twist,
yeah,
to the
yeah.
point where I don't want to say anything that could even remotely give it away because the whole spectacle of the movie is the twist, I think.
Mm.
Um, that being said, yeah, I don't think I liked the movie that much. And I think if somebody asked me, would I recommend it? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, I guess to wrap up, simple question. What's your favorite horror movie of all time?
Ooh, all time. Oh, I did think about it, but I lost it. I'm just gonna give a very basic answer. I think Saw is still the one that I go back to.
You're never gonna believe this, but I
Yours
think
is
Saw.
Insidious.
No. It's actually Dead Silence. I think I think Saw is also my favorite horror movie of all time.
It's just that good. They
Yeah.
really one and done should have been.
Yeah. Honorary mentions of probably the most impactful horror movie of in my life. Halloween Ends.
Yeah,
That's not my favorite, but it's like
it's
Halloween
important.
Ends is who I am ultimately betrothed to. I'm married to it. We are in a lifelong commitment for better or for worse. And
You got that ring on you.
it's not a loveless marriage, but there's something that maybe it, was not started right or got off to a rocky start. There's something not right about our
Second
marriage.
chances.
Yeah, there's something wrong with our marriage,
You're
but
like
we won't get
destined to
divorced.
be, you're no, you're destined to be like constantly on the brink of divorce.
Yeah. But Saw's the guy that I think about
The one that got away.
constantly. Yeah, Saw is who I should have been with. That's for some reason I didn't end up with, and Halloween Ends swooped in and took me.
Every time you see Saw, you're just like, oh, I should have married you.
Seesaw.
Seesaw.
I see Saw
Wait,
all the time with most.
let's go on a seesaw together.
Okay, let's do it right now.
Let's go.
Crawl through the computer.
Now, I had an opinion on Lee Wanell that I wanted to share, but I think we moved too quickly.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I listen, I like the guy. He's like my close friend, friend of the pod.
Yeah, we are actually. Don't fact check us.
We're
We
best
are
friends.
close friends with Lee Winnell.
Yeah. I think we have actually spoken to him. Like truly, I
I think
think.
I have.
Yeah, whatever. We are one person.
Through proxy, you have also spoken to
Yeah,
Lee
of
Winnell.
course. I was tagged in the thread.
Right, right, right.
Anyways. I think Lee Wanell, he has always been destined to be a like a TV movie guy, you know? A lot of his
Yeah.
films, a lot of his projects have that quality to them, which isn't like, you know, a hit on it. But
Mm-mm.
we do need TV, straight to TV movie. What
Mm-hmm.
otherwise what will my mom watch?
Not the random dig at your mom catching strays. I think the exception, well, obviously Saw wouldn't have worked as a TV film.
No, no.
Well, I guess he didn't direct Saw, but he wrote it.
He wrote it.
Um, the
But like
exception to Lee Winnell's
Wolfman.
directing is The Invisible Man.
Oh yeah.
That's
The
really good.
The Invisible Man and Saw are the only two standouts of his work, I think, to me.
Yeah.
What was the other
Yeah.
movie? Upgrade? I like Upgrade. I think it's an excellent film,
Oh, I
but
didn't watch that one.
you should watch it. But it really does just feel like, it's a TV movie or it's a Netflix movie. And I think it did come on Netflix.
Yeah. And then he did the Wolfman, which I think I was the only person on earth who saw
I did.
that. Oh,
I
you saw
watched.
the Wolfman?
Yeah, I watched it in theaters.
Oh, me too. I did a double feature Flight Risk, the Mark Wahlberg Topher Grace movie, and then I went and saw Wolfman after, and I hate to say this. Flight Risk
Flight
was
Risk
more
was
fun.
better.
I love Topher Grace. So, and
Yeah.
it was funny. Um and then he did the third Insidious movie because James Wan, enemy of
Dropped
the
out.
pod, he always leaves before the third movie. He checks out. He does the first two and then he leaves. It happened with Saw. He checked out the
Oh
third
yeah.
one. I think he didn't direct it, but he was on the screenplay, or
Mm.
maybe he directed it. I don't remember.
He
But
produced it.
yeah, he checked out. Insidious 3, he checked out. He did the first two,
Conjuring.
left. The Conjuring, he did the first two, checked out. He starts these franchises and then he's like, I'm gonna go make
Boy,
Aquaman or Megan. And
I'm gonna do Fast and Furious.
he wasn't even a part of Me Toogan. He checked
Me
out
too again.
early. And I'm just like, dude, finish a trilogy.
He's got commitment issues.
You obviously really like the concept of a trilogy and you're on board for it in the first movie. And then you're just like, the third movie comes around, you could wrap it up nice with a bow. And you're like, I don't care anymore. And then they go on and they bastardize the franchise because he's gone. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, we have full control. Let's make 600 Conjurings now. And they're all worse. They all keep getting worse. And
Yeah.
every movie has Patrick Wilson. I like him, but every
Wait
movie
a
has
minute.
him.
Wait a minute.
I like the guy.
Didn't he direct like one of the Conjurings as well? Or was it one of the Insidiouses?
He directed
One
the
of them.
last Insidious. Again,
So it was his
that
fault.
I thought was the last movie because Lee Winnell and Patrick Wilson had to finish up the franchise.
They were
And they
contractually obligated to finish.
and it's like, dude, just finish a trilogy for once in your miserable life.
Now he has commitment issues. Leave him
He wants
alone.
to be a blockbuster director so bad. And I'm sorry, he doesn't got the juice.
He wants to be Michael Bay.
And but who on earth wants to be Michael Bay?
He's the only one. What happened to Michael
He
Bay, huh?
he watched
Gone.
Transformers and was like,
I could do that.
Michael Bay is a genius. James Wan, you're an idiot.
Michael Bay isn't even that genius.
I honestly saw favorite horror movie of all time. I cannot stand James Wan. Malignant was so bad. And then Megan, fake movie.
Yeah,
AI
it's a fake
Slop, the
movie.
movie before AI Slop came out. I watched Megan, and then I think we went and watched Cocaine Bear right after.
You know what I don't like about Megan? I was gonna say hate, but I don't think I would want to give enough energy to it. Megan only got as much traction as it did because of like young gay people specifically.
Yeah, because
If
they
they weren't
memeified
there,
it.
yeah, they're like calling her queen and whatever. It's like, come on, come on, you gotta
It's a
have like better
child robot
tastes.
death doll who does
She's
TikTok
not,
dances.
she does not serve. She did not cook.
She had one job and she did not eat that.
No, she was bad at it. She didn't cook, she didn't serve, she didn't eat.
Yeah. And then the sequel, they were like, oh my gosh, everybody loved the first one because it was unintentionally camp. You can't
That's another word
unintentionally
that I don't
make
like.
something.
Mm,
Yeah, because people are like, it's camp. No, it's just bad. That's not what camp
yeah.
is. Camp isn't bad. Camp is an
Camp is
actual art form.
yeah, it deserves respect. It doesn't mean that it's so bad that it's good. No.
It's like, okay, and this is where I might lose the audience. It's like when the Met Gala theme was camp, and everybody just showed up in ugly outfits and said, I'm so camp because I'm in a banana costume. That's not what camp is. Camp is a fashion style and art form of heightened tackiness and subverting what we think counts as art and fashion. It's
It's like
not
satire. Nobody knows what satire is.
nobody. Oh my God. I'm like working myself up so much.
We have to
I
calm
need to
down.
calm down.
We're at the
Like,
end already.
this is the end. I'm so worked up because nobody knows what anything means.
When people mean joke, they say satire. That's not what
Yeah.
it is. You are not like making fun of the thing that you're talking about. You're just talking about.
Yeah. And like to satirize something well, you have to have enough nuanced understanding of why you're satirizing it.
Mm,
It's like when Lord's Solar Power album came out
yeah.
and people thought she satirized like white people's obsession with Eastern spirituality. But she wasn't far enough removed from actually believing in that lifestyle
I think
for
she
it to
was
work
like
as satire.
genuinely she genuinely bought into that lifestyle.
Yeah, she was like, "Ooh, I'm dyeing my hair blonde and I like crystals now."
Yeah. The
Like,
sun is my power.
yeah, and it's like I like the album, you know. But like that's not what satire is. You have to have
No,
enough knowledge on it.
Sabrina Carpenter did not satirize being a dog. I just keep
And
bringing up new things for you to be
and
pissed
she's
off
not
about.
camp.
She is
She's
not
definitely
camp.
not camp.
No.
I can't talk about this because I'm too upset. I need this episode to end because
Okay.
I need to calm down.
Goodbye,
Saw
everybody.
is the greatest horror movie ever made.
It's the only.
And Lee Winnell, if you're listening, I like you. I think you
I
should make
like
a
you
TV
too.
movie.
I like you too. I didn't mean what I said as like an insult. It's really
No,
truly the highest form of compliment I could give you.
we would love to have you on the pod. However, I meant every word that I said about your friend. I'm not taking any of it back.
I can't be like too mean to James Wan because he's like that's like my cousin, you know? We're both Malaysian and he's like we're from the same like island sort of. So
Yeah.
like that's really my
And
cousin,
I
my
do
uncle at best.
apologize. I do apologize to the country of Malaysia for my hatred of James Wan. It's not personal.
We
It's
can't
not
take that blame. I think you should blame it to Australia because he was raised in Australia.
That's true. It's not anything about where he comes from.
No. It's
I
just the
just
art that he consumes and he's trying to make.
you can't you can't aspire to be Michael Bay because Michael Bay is not an aspiration.
You gotta dream bigger. You gotta have a full dream.
Like, here's a hot take. When they said Kevin Smith was the new Martin Scorsese, that
You're
made
right.
sense
That's
because
true.
Kevin Smith had an artistic vision of
That's
greatness.
that's an auteur director.
That's an
Like
under
genuinely, I'm being 100%, he's an auteur director. He has an eye.
he does. Now, maybe Kevin Smith didn't follow that path of being the next Martin Scorsese. But that's not to say that he couldn't have.
He had the potential, and I believe in potential. He's Mr.
He
Potential.
he saved his own life. He could his
He
Killers
could
of the
save his
Flower
career.
Moon is still in there.
Yeah,
Marty, 80 years
Mar
old, just made one of the greatest movies of his career just a few years
exactly.
ago. Kevin Smith,
Exactly.
when you're 80, I look forward to seeing what you put in theaters.
I'll be there.
I'll be there and I will be clapping.
In like at this point it's like 120 millimeter IMAX Dolby Atmos
And I'll be like, this guy
5D.
this guy made Dogma.
The kids don't know ball for real. They
When
don't
I
know.
when I watched Dogma, it
When
was
I
a
watch
free YouTube video that somebody uploaded because they couldn't legally sell the DVDs and stream it.
when I watch
And
Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
you kids have Dogma printed on the back of your eyelids to stream constantly. But in my day, Harvey Weinstein owned Dogma, and you couldn't give money to buy Dogma because you would be supporting the Weinstein Company.
You may know woke 5.0, but back then I was there for woke 1.0, and I
They
couldn't
don't
give
know.
shit to Harvey Weinstein.
They don't know what Matt Damon and Ben Affleck did in Dogma.
You don't even know what which could mean nothing even
The
means.
intricacies of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's friendship. Hey, full circle moment. We started the pod talking about Matt Damon and the Odyssey. We're ending the pod with it. Thanks so much for listening.
We love
Peace
Matt
and
Damon,
love.
friend of the pod. Truly have a great day.
Yeah, peace and love. Peace and love.